The Indians return home with momentum after finishing off a 5-4 road trip behind 7 shutout innings from Ubaldo Jimenez. Next up, Charlie Manuel's Philadelphia Phillies, a team the Tribe hasn't seen since 2010. First up for the Indians offense, 2-time Cy Young Award winner Doc Halladay, and it's coming up next on Sports Time Ohio. Home sweet home, the Indians back at Progressive Field after a long road trip, and tonight they welcome in the Philadelphia Phillies. It's the first installment of Interleague Play 2013 for the Cleveland Indians. Hi again, everyone. Matt Underwood alongside Rick Manning. In the history of Interleague Play for the Indians, when it comes to playing against the National League East, it has been problematic over the years. There are combined 13 games below 500 against the NL East, and Rick, they're going to face 2 extremely talented pitchers in this series. Cliff Lee tomorrow night, Roy Halladay this evening.
Yeah, a couple of Cy Young pitchers. But in turn, you have to go out there and try and hold down a team that you're going to have to hold down, and it's up to Zach McAllister to do that. Now, McAllister has pitched pretty well this year, just not good enough. He only has 1 win. But he's going to have that little comeback fastball to the left-handers in the Philadelphia Phillies lineup tonight. And make sure if you miss, you miss in off the plate, not over the middle of the plate. He will be facing Roy Halladay, who his first 2 starts he was roughed up, but in his last 3 starts he's pitched very well, out to a 1.71 ERA, 6-2 in his career against the Indians. So see if they can get started off on interleague play on the right note.
The Indians come in 10-13, Philadelphia 12-14. We'll see who can get the upper hand in Game 1 of this interleague series. Coming up next, Zach McAllister on the hill for the Tribe, and the Indians happy to sleep in their own beds last night. Let's see if the bats come to work here this evening. Good to be back home tonight. Progressive Field, Indians and the Philadelphia Phillies interleague play. Yeah, Zach McAllister will go for the Tribe tonight. And let's take a look at Charlie Manuel's starting lineup for the Phillies. Jimmy Rollins, the shortstop, leads it off, a switch hitter, followed by Michael Young, a longtime Ranger. Chase Utley, Ryan Howard, pair of left-handed bats, followed by Delman Young, the former Tiger and Twin, who hits fifth. Then Dominic Brown, Carlos Ruiz, John Mayberry, and Ben Revere.
25-year-old Zach McAllister on the mound for the Indians this evening, trying to get this homestand started off on the right foot, making his fifth start this year. His record 1-3, 352 earned run average. Zach has thrown the ball well this year, but one problem for Zach, he's been around that 100-pitch mark at around the 5-inning mark. 5 2/3 against the White Sox in his last start, but he's going to continue to try and throw strikes, and we'll see if he has that little comeback fastball to the left-handers of the Phillies here in this lineup tonight.
All right, we're ready to go. Jimmy Rollins will lead it off. A 267 hitter you see there on the year. And McAllister's first pitch of the night is a fastball in there for strike one. .76 degrees, our game time temperature. As Rollins fouls the first pitch back out, or the second pitch back out of play, and he's in the hole 0-2. Just a beautiful evening. Rollins takes it's a little bit outside. Over the last 13 seasons, Jimmy Rollins second in hits in the National League, behind only Albert Pujols. Up and away. He's back to even at 2-2. In addition to all those hits, Rollins is 6 shy of 200 career home runs. He has over 800 career runs batted in. Popped out of play. Count stays at 2-2.
Well, one of those guys that could do it all. Hit for power. He's a switch hitter. You know, he is getting older, but playing a tough position at shortstop, a Gold Glover. He can steal bases. He can pretty much do it all.
That's down low and a full count. Michael Young waits on deck. McAllister's payoff pitch. And Rollins strokes it towards center field. And on the run, a nice catch made by Drew Stubbs. It hung up long enough for the speedy Stubbs to get to it, one away.
Let's take a look at the Kia Indians defense behind McAllister tonight. In left field, it's going to be Brantley. See Stubbs in center, who ran that one down. Rayburn back in right field. It'll be Chisenhall at third, Cabrera at short, Kipnis is at second, Reynolds at first, Santana behind the plate.
Bob Davidson calling the balls and strikes. Jim Reynolds at first, James Hoy at second, the crew chief, John Hirschbeck down at third. Michael Young takes a called strike. For all the talk about Albert Pujols, who switched leagues last year and had trouble adjusting, Michael Young just keeps hitting no matter where he's at. 352 average already this year. Hadn't taken him long to adjust.
Well, Michael's just a hitter. You know why it makes him such a good hitter? He waits on the baseball as well as anybody. He doesn't try and hit home runs. He's more of a high average guy. But in the ballparks that he played in, he can hit home runs because he stays back on it and the ball carries in Texas. But this guy is just, you don't get 200 hits a year like he did for so many years and not be just a great hitter. We watched him many years as a Texas Ranger, and he has probably most of the offensive records there as far as hits and batting average and runs and things like that.
Well, he's only 10 RBI shy of 1,000 for his career, 22 homers shy of 200. The 0-2 pitch down in the dirt. Charlie Manuel has done very well in Philadelphia, World Championship.
I did not realize this is his 9th year, starting his 9th year as manager of the Phillies.
Swung on and missed. He got him up high with a fastball. 2 down here in the first inning. The injury report brought to you by Elk & Elk. Serious lawyers for serious injuries. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO. Delman Young just called up, or just activated, I should say, from the DL. He had right ankle surgery, and he is in the lineup DHing tonight for Philadelphia. Chase Utley batting in the 3-hole. Off to a good start, hitting .295. And a fastball over the outside corner for strike 1. You're talking about Charlie Manuel already in his 9th season at the helm in Philadelphia, and already the winningest manager in Phillies history.
739 wins in his career. Earlier in his career, they tried to run him out of Philadelphia like they do everybody, but he ended up winning, getting a world championship, and he ended up pretty much cementing his place there.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Last year they finished right at 500, but the season before that, he was the first Phillies manager to have 4 straight full winning seasons since Danny Ozark did it.
Oh, yeah.
In the mid to late 70s.
Yeah, I remember Danny Ozark.
Hard ground ball to first, nicely flagged down by Mark Reynolds. He'll take it himself. And a 1-2-3 first inning for Zach McAllister. The Indians are coming to bat. No scores. We go to the bottom of the first inning. The Indians starting lineup under manager Terry Francona, presented by Progressive, making it easy to bundle your home and car insurance. Michael Brantley will lead it off, followed by Jason Kipnis, and then Asdrubal Cabrera riding an 8-game hitting streak. Carlos Santana cleanup. Jason Giambi will DH. Mark Reynolds hits 6. Lonnie Chisenhall, Ryan Rayburn, and Drew Stubbs rounded out.
Roy Halladay is 2-2 this year, and his first 2 starts were not good at all, but his last 3 have been very good. Settled in. A lot of people worried about him in Philadelphia after the first 2 starts.
Reports of his demise greatly exaggerated.
You think?
Yeah, last 3 starts, 2-0, 171 ERA. And he's given up 4 runs in those last 3 starts, 2 of them coming on solo homers. So you don't generally bunch a lot of hits together against
Halladay.
Halladay.
I mean, 20 hits in 28 and a third innings the league has against him. Well, this guy is tough to string something together, and he uses both sides of the plate very well. That's why I'm saying you almost have to pick cut that plate in half and pick what side you want to go after.
Brantley fights it off. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Michael coming off a road trip in which he had 13 hits in 40 at-bats. He had 5 runs batted in, and he scored 7 times. And a swing and a miss, a strikeout victim to start. Let's go downstairs, check in. Here's Katie with them.
Well, Matt, opposing hitters were hitting 118 off Roy Halladay in the last 3 starts. Brad Mills actually told me today the adjustment he's seen him make is he's not using his cutter, his bread and butter pitch, nearly as much anymore. Instead, he's using his curveball outside of the zone to get guys to chase. So today, the key for Tribe hitters is to be aggressive but also be disciplined up there.
That's a fine line when you got a guy that can, throw it to both sides of the plate. And I'm thinking that Brantley struck out on a splitter.
Over the outside corner with that fastball. Evens the count 1-1 for Kipnis, who got his first home run of the year in the first inning last night in KC. Down low. 2 balls and a strike. Slowly, but hopefully surely, Kipnis is starting to round into shape offensively. He has hit in 5 out of his last 7 games. He hasn't had one of those breakout games like Asdrubal Cabrera where you get 3-4 hits all in one ball game.
But that comes with time. That comes with good approach.
Well, he smoked that ball right back up the middle. And a 1-out single here in the first for Kipnis.
Well, he got the count in his favor, and that's when you get into hitters' counts, that's what you have to do to a good pitcher is take advantage of his pitch. And Kipnis had a 3-1 pitch, and he goes right at him, and he gets a lot of the plate, and Kipnis drills it into center field. So good at-bat by Jason.
Now Asdrubal Cabrera. And Cabrera has hit in 8 straight. During his streak, he's raised his batting average over 100 points. That gives you an idea just how buried he was. But early in the year, you can climb out of that hole a lot easier than you can in June or July.
He's starting to stay on the baseball. The base hit past the third baseman last night, and he's starting to use the whole field and keeping him back. And he's seeing the ball much better.
Kipnis takes off. Ruiz throw. Not in time. Kipnis nearly slid by the bag almost in the left field, but he hung on with the fingernail. He's got his 5th stolen base of the season.
A good jump, and I'll tell you, it's tough to steal a base on Ruiz. He was waiting for that ball, and he had a good pitch to throw on, but he picked the right pitch. It's a breaking ball. Cabrera did the right thing. He took it, gave him a chance to steal a base, even though he's down in the count 0-2. Now you have a chance to drive in a run.
Missed inside with it. Halladay checks Kipnis. And Cabrera out in front of it, fouls it off. Our stat of the game brought to you by your Northern Ohio Buick dealers. And for Asdrubal Cabrera, so far this year, when he gets to it early in the count, a lot of success.
How about
the
that?
later it goes, boy.
That's hard to believe. I'm going to have to check and see how many walks he has, too.
A little bit outside.
See, a lot of times that you take it deep into the count to 3-2, and guys don't like to walk. He only has 7 walks out of 80 at-bats.
Let's see if Asdrubal can buck that trend and come up with a hit deep in the count. 2-2. Smashed on the ground to first. Ryan Howard will take it himself. And the side is retired. No, I beg your pardon. That's out number 2. Kipnis moves over to third. So with 2 down, Carlos Santana will get a chance to bat. And we'll take a look at our keys to the game tonight. You got to control Utley and Howard for Philadelphia, and try to get to the big guy early.
Get to him at any time, early, middle part of the game, or late if you can.
Well, the Indians have had some success against guys with Cy Young awards. They beat R.A. Dickey. They beat David Price. Jake Peavy, however, shut them down.
Well, Halladay, 12 starts against the Indians. He's 6-2 in his career, but has allowed 1 earned run or none in 7 of those 12 starts. And he's pitched very well here. He's 2-1 in this ballpark. So we'll see. It's been quite a while since the Indians have faced him.
And the former Blue Jay misses down low to Santana. 1-1 to count. Carlos has hit in 4 straight. And for Santana, coming off a road trip in which he went 12 for 33 with a couple of home runs.
Yeah, this would be the guy I would think Philly would say, we're going to pitch around. We're not going to let him beat us. You've got Jason Giambi on deck, but Santana's really been swinging a hot bat, leading the league.
Still leading the league.
You've got 9. He's got 9 doubles. Oh.
He hits one high in the air, deep right field, down the line, and gone! Just inside the foul pole, Carlos Santana gives the Indians a 2-0 lead here in the first. Oh, he just did curl it around the foul pole, and the Tribe has the early lead here again tonight. 3rd straight game they have scored in the first inning.
Surprises me, but he was going to attack him with a breaking ball, but he hung it. And watch, he's out front, but Carlos able to keep it fair. He hung that breaking ball. I was surprised they threw him a strike. And Santana kept it fair. Look at the body English. Please stay fair. And then that's when he realizes it's going to stay inside the line. And the Tribe will take a 2-zip lead.
Now Jason Giambi.
So both hits in the inning. Kipnis got a base hit on a 3-1 count. Santana on the 2-1 count. Surprising he threw him a strike there, though.
Jason Giambi looks, it's outside. Giambi 0 for 7 in his last 7 trips to the dish. Swung on and missed. It's 2-1. He got his fastball, but it had good movement. Look at that, 72 career at bats for Giambi against Roy Halladay.
Yeah, they've had some good battles, huh? 72 at bats against one pitcher. They've both been around a long time. Another 3-1 count.
And a little bit too tall, ball 4. So the inning stays alive. Giambi drawing the walk, and Mark Reynolds coming up.
Let's take a look at the defense behind Halladay for Philadelphia tonight. It's Brown in left, Rivera in center, Mayberry in right. Young at third, Rollins at short, Utley is at second, Howard at first, Ruiz behind the plate. And the man of gold, 4 gold gloves for Jimmy Rollins out at short.
Well, Mark Reynolds comes in batting .291 on the year. You see the 7 homers, 20 driven in. Takes its inside, ball 1. So the Indians getting to Halladay early for a couple. And now Reynolds sends one the other way. Deep right field. Mayberry back. He's out of room. It's out of here. Mark Reynolds with a 2-out, 2-run homer, and it's a 4-0 Indians first inning lead. Boy, home run number 8 for Mark Reynolds. RBIs number 21 and 22. He began the evening among the top 10 in RBIs in the American League. Started the night 3rd in home runs.
Look at that ball. Fastball down the middle, and he was thinking that way. He stayed inside the baseball beautifully. I don't know if he was looking in or out, but it was a great swing, and he shows his strength by drilling it to right center field. That followed the walk. So a pair of 2-run homers in the first, and it's a crooked number for the Tribe, a 4 spot.
Now Lonnie Chisenhall takes a fastball strike over the outside corner. That's fouled the other way. Well, you talk about the Indians in that series against Kansas City and all the success they had offensively as you take another look at the home run by Reynolds. Chisenhall and Drew Stubbs were about the only 2 guys that didn't join the party. They didn't really get a hand in a lot of that offensive outburst.
Well, it's starting out again tonight. They better join early because the boys in the first inning come right back out of the chute. 3 games in a row, they've been swinging it pretty well.
Fouled right back.
And, you know, you hear it. Hitting is contagious. They've been so inconsistent this year, and they had that big game in Houston where they dropped 19 runs on the board. And after they were shut out in game 1 of that doubleheader, you're thinking, boy, oh boy. I mean, a lot of people were down. But they didn't give up. They came back Sunday night. They had a big offensive night. They come back tomorrow, or yesterday, a big one, and today.
Yeah, I don't know if it has anything to do with it, but scoring early, first inning.
Getting that lead. It certainly helps.
2-2 pitch. And Lonnie Chisenhall, 1-hop smash to second. Chase Utley has it, throws him out. And the inning is over. But the Indians strike with the big bats. Carlos Santana deep down the line. Reynolds deep the other way. 4-0 Cleveland. Baseball is brought to you by McDonald's new Premium McWrap. Try one today. And by Kia. You know, Zach McAllister has to be thrilled. He went 1-2-3 in the top of the first, and then the bats went in and got him 4 in the bottom of the first.
That's what you like to see. If you can draw it up that way, it's a beautiful thing. Now it's his job to put some zeros on the board for a while.
Ryan Howard leads off with the Indians shifting onto the right side of the infield. Howard off to a pretty good start, hitting .286. 3 homers, 16 runs batted in, and he has 7 doubles. Big swing. And
you know, once again, this is a Phillies team. They started off, you know, a little slowly, let's say. Out of their 12 wins, 5 of them have come against the New York Mets.
And he strikes out. Howard does Zach McAllister. Second strikeout, 1 down in the second inning.
Let's take a look at this on our Nissan pitch tracker. Tailing fastball, excellent location, up, belt high, and it was off the plate for a strike. See, he's trying to pull that ball. He didn't go the other way with it, and he swings through it.
Now Delman Young. He had off-season surgery on his right ankle, so he started the season on the 15-day DL and just activated today. Kind of a perfect scenario for the Phillies in that they can DH him.
Right. Well, and notoriously a first ball, fastball, or breaking ball hitter, it doesn't matter. But he loves the ball down.
Well, he put that one down and out. Delman Young going the other way for a home run in his first at bat as a Philly.
Yeah. Welcome back, I guess. These guys will be charged up. They come right back and answer with a solo home run. And Young, no stranger to the Indians. McAllister gives up his third. Watch this ball. They want it away. It comes down middle. And that's not down. That's about mid-thigh. He likes that ball down, though, where he can shoot it. And he shot it to right center field.
Now Dominic Brown. He drives one to center field. Big part of the ballpark, though, and Drew Stubbs can run that down. 2 away. Here's our great clip of the game from last night in Kansas City. Ubaldo Jimenez with easily his best game as an Indian. He had everything working. He had a lot of movement on his fastball, and he said that was the key for him. And he went out and shut out Kansas City over 7 innings of work as the Indians cruised to a 9-0 win. Carlos Ruiz takes a strike. One and one to count. Ruiz, the Phillies catcher. Fouled right back. Ruiz just back into the Phillies lineup on Sunday. He was suspended for 25 games this past off season when he tested positive for an amphetamine, which is in violation of the drug prevention program. Well, he took a called third strike. McAllister gives up a dinger, but it's still 4-1 Cleveland. Leading at 4-1. For the Indians, it will be Ryan Rayburn, Drew Stubbs, and Michael Brantley to face off against Roy Halladay. Tribe roughed him up, couple of 2-run homers in that first inning.
Well, the amazing thing, Matt, he had 3 counts of 0-2 counts, and Cleveland was 0 for 3 in the first inning. 4 counts, he fell behind. They were 3 for 3, and they walked. So they got ahead of the count. They took advantage of every opportunity they had in the first.
Well, it kind of goes back to what Katie was talking about with, Brad Mills saying part of the approach, you want to be patient when you can. As you said, he's not a guy you want to fall behind. But if you can get ahead in the count, that's when that patience.
Yeah, it certainly
will pay
helps.
off.
Anytime you can get yourself into hitters' counts against good pitchers, it certainly helps. Because guys like that, they just have a tendency to expand the zone once they get ahead. And here's another 0-2 count. And as I told you in the first, they were 0 for 3.
Ryan Rayburn coming off a 4-for-4 game with 2 home runs yesterday against Kansas City. And now he lines one into the glove of Ryan Howard at first.
That's all right. Good at bat. Smoked it on an 0-2 pitch.
Here's the Firestone Complete Auto Care Extra Mile Index. Among the active pitchers in baseball today, Roy Halladay, second in wins, third in ERA, first in shutouts. How about the 67 complete games?
Yeah, he's a horse.
Second place is 32 on that list.
And today he's trying to go with a win today. He'd go 100 games over the 500 mark. He'd be 202 and 102 in his career, and that's a hard thing to do.
Well, this is premature, but here's a guy who's a great example of it. You talk about the numbers when you get down the road and debating about Hall of Fame. For all those years, we talked about Burt Blyleven being shy of the 300 win mark.
Right.
Well, if Roy Halladay doesn't get to 300 wins, which
won't,
which is very likely that he won't, but he's still a Hall of Fame pitcher. If he continues to put up numbers another 4 or 5 years.
The funny thing, I remember when he was with Toronto and they sent him down for a year to reconstruct his whole, mechanical output there. He went down for a year with Mel Queen into A-ball, into the back roads, and they reworked it, and he came back up, and he has been a different person ever since.
Drew Stubbs strikes out, 2 down here in inning number 2. I mean, you look at he's won the Cy Young in both leagues. That's pretty rare. He's 3 times a 20-game winner. He's pitched a perfect game. He pitched a postseason no-hitter. Ground ball to second base. Chase Utley has it. And the Tribe goes quickly here in inning number 2, but they are on top 4-1. Just a reminder as you enjoy a cold one to look forward to Miller time later in tonight's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. Tribe on top 4-1. Third inning, it will be John Mayberry, Ben Revere, and Jimmy Rollins for the Phillies.
It's the first time that he's been behind a hitter tonight. He was 7 for 7. First pitch strikes.
Pitch outside. 3 balls, no strikes. Taking all the way. John Mayberry Jr. graduated from Stanford with a degree in poli-sci. Went back and got his degree a year after he graduated, or after he was drafted, excuse me. One down. Ben Revere's coming up. Zach McAllister is mowing him down for the most part. With more on that, here's Katie.
Well, Matt, Mickey Callaway told me he and McAllister watched a lot of Philly hitters video today, and what they saw is a bunch of veteran guys who are patient early in the count. Basically, they try to wait you out to get into that hitter's count. So the key today for McAllister, attack them early and command the inside of the plate.
Well, hence the 7 for 7 starting out first pitch strikes. Now that's 8 out of 9. You know, if they want to be patient because they don't have a reputation with McAllister, go ahead and throw strike one.
Bounces it to second base. Routine for Kipnis. 2 quick outs here in the third.
You know, they may end up making an adjustment that second time around and get a little more aggressive, but we will see. MLB.com At Bat is the #1 source for live baseball everywhere you go. Available for iPhone, iPad, Android, and BlackBerry 10. At Bat delivers Indians baseball with live audio, pitch tracking, stats, news, highlights, and more. Text At Bat to 31826 or visit Indians.com.
And for whatever reason, Rollins just stood upright and watched that first pitch
they've
strike
only
go
swung
by.
at 1 pitch. Now that's 9 out of 10 first pitch strikes, and they've only swung at 1.
Swings at that one and it's out of play. 0-2. That's pretty well hit. Deep left center. Back is Brantley on the run. He'll make the catch. And again, the Phillies go in order for the second time tonight. McAllister cruises through the third. Bottom of the third inning. Jason Kipnis as Drupal Cabrera and Carlos Santana. Kipnis got it started for the Indians in the third inning when he lined a pitch from Halladay right back up the middle for a base hit. Then he stole second, came around on the 2-out 2-run homer by Carlos Santana. And he is 2 for 2 on the night. Another solid line drive base hit for Kipnis. This one into right field. And now the Indians have their leadoff man aboard for the first time tonight.
Nice swing. Kipnis now 2 for 2. He tried to come inside with that pitch down and away, and it stayed right into his zone. That is hit number 4 for the Indians, and Jason Kipnis is now 2 for 2.
That'll bring up as Drupal Cabrera, who grounded to first back in the first inning. Popped up foul and playable. And Michael Young makes the catch. So Cabrera went back to the success formula, which is swing early in the count, only this time it didn't work for him.
It's all right.
Time now for our AT&T Uverse Rewind. Carlos Santana with 2 outs in the first inning, just inside the pole. And then Mark Reynolds making a little history as Roy Halladay gives up 2 home runs in the first inning for the first time in his career.
Hard to believe, isn't it? And he has given up 7 this year now in his 30 2/3 innings.
Up and away. Yeah, I think one of those starts he had, he gave up 2 home runs.
But like you said, solo shots.
But they were both solo shots against St. Louis.
And, you know, that's just a pitcher being aggressive. And a solo shot, a lot of times I always say, it never really hurts you. They don't have a rally. But that's what you do against good pitchers. If you can get a base runner, and the Indians were very fortunate to do that in the first, the base hit, and then the Santana dinger, and then it followed a walk, and they followed it one more time with another home run, and it's a big inning. And you don't rarely do that to a guy like this.
Kind of the same pattern here. He's falling behind Santana. Kipnis takes off, pitches up and away. Good pitch to throw on, and they got him. Kipnis thought he was in there safely.
This guy can throw.
Second base umpire James Hoy says no.
Yeah, this guy's a good arm. He got him the first time because it was a breaking ball. This pitch here was a fastball up and away, and even a better pitch for Ruiz to throw on, and that ball gets in there, and they just nail him. So he's 1 out of 2.
This was awfully close. Let's take another look.
It was. It looks like the glove gets there right as the hand gets ready to hit the base. Boy, close.
That looks safe to me.
That was close.
3-1 to count on Santana.
Oh.
Wow.
Well, maybe it was, I don't know, Santana thinking that he was looking away and he comes inside and his body movement going away. Let's see. That's at the top of the zone. It had the plate.
There's ball 4, and Santana's aboard now with 2 down. Here's our Lowe's never stop improving note. Roy Halladay, as you take a look in the first 2 starts, people were thinking, uh-oh, is this the end of the road for the Doc? But no, he turned it around in his next 3. But the Indians jumping on him early here tonight for 4 in the first. First time he's ever given up 2 home runs or allowed 2 home runs in the first inning of a start. Jason Giambi is swinging a miss. He walked and came around to score in the first inning. Giambi smokes it deep and fouled on the right side.
Well, you get the ball up in the zone, and they have put some very good swings on it. Although he was a little too quick on that one.
Now down on the count, 0-2. Up and away. Downstairs, and the count even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. 31 out of the 55 pitches for Halladay have been strikes so far. And Giambi way out in front of it. Strikes out to end the inning. 3 complete, 4-1 Tribe. Here in the 4th inning, it will be Michael Young, Chase Utley, Ryan Howard due up for the Phils. Zach McAllister so far through 3 innings, pretty efficient. 39 pitches, 76% for strikes.
Zach always seems to be above the average. You know, average is about 63% strikes, you know, for a major league pitcher, and he's been in the 70s before. And in his last start against Chicago, you remember he was just a little bit off and just missing spots, but he seems to be zoned in tonight.
Michael Young went down swinging his first time up. That's down low. 1 ball, 1 strike.
I don't know. I just like the tempo. I like the tempo he's got going. I like the tempo Ubaldo had yesterday. You know, I don't know if Mickey's talking to these guys about maybe speeding it up a little bit. I don't know if Santana's back there calling the right pitches, but they're in a rhythm, and I think it works very well. When you see that pitcher get the ball, get on the mound, let's go, and not a whole lot of shaking going on.
2-1 pitch. I always think of Ray Miller back in the old days. Longtime pitching coach, Baltimore, Pittsburgh.
Right.
Work fast, change speeds, throw strikes.
Well, that's the simple way to go about it and say it.
Boy, he really ate him up with that ball in, but barehanded grab and throw by Cabrera. Got him. Oh, it took a sensational effort by Asdrubal Cabrera because the ball just wasn't hit very hard. He had to come a long way in to grab it. And he did a terrific job.
Let's make this our McDonald's. I'm loving it because it has spin on it. And I'll tell you what, the hand-eye coordination, outstanding for infielders that can make this play. Cabrera does it nicely right before Young can get to first. Another fine play with the bare hand by Asdrubal.
Now Chase Utley, who grounded out his first time up. When you think of the Phillies, in particular, the Phillies under the leadership of Charlie Manuel, you think of three guys: Rollins, Utley, and Howard. I mean, they've been sort of the holy trinity for Philly baseball for a number of years. And especially, Rick, in that ballpark in Philadelphia, they can do some damage. Drew Stubbs has a beat on it, runs it down deep on a warning track in center field. 2 away. Now, it's Citizens Bank ballpark. That might be 10 rows deep.
Although Citizens Bank is, it's pretty far to center field, but that ball carries to left field to right field the times we've been there. It's a good hitter's ballpark, a lot like Cincinnati is. It gets warm in the summertime and the ball really flies, but those guys are good hitters too. A lot of those guys that are hitting them out of there.
We played the first ever game in that ballpark. It was an exhibition game. And I remember Casey Blake, I think he hit an opposite field home run. And it might have gone into the second deck, and we were thinking, it's not even warm yet.
Well, wait a minute. Didn't Tomey hit one, a 3-0 pitch in about 2 miles? He had just signed with Philadelphia. We went in to open that ballpark up.
Did he hit one, too, in
Are
that
you
exhibition
kidding me?
game? I don't remember.
I think it's still going. That's how far he hit it. Yeah.
Up and away. 1 ball, 1 strike. Ryan Howard struck out swinging his first time up. And now he slices one toward left, but Brantley has him played perfectly. And another 1-2-3 inning for Zach McAllister. He has retired 8 straight since the homer by Delman Young. Going now to the bottom of the 4th inning with the Tribe in front 4-1. Mark Reynolds, Lonnie Chisenhall, Ryan Rayburn due up. Reynolds a 2-run homer in the first.
You remember last night he had that big base hit the other way with 2 outs to keep the inning going, which turned into being a 6-run inning in Kansas City and really opening that game up. And tonight, that home run, right center field, stayed on it beautifully.
He's in some pretty select company right there. 8 home runs, and this the final day of the month of April. May Day tomorrow. So Reynolds with a couple more at bats to tie Albert Bell for the most homers in April in Indians history.
Maybe a couple of times on there. I know he might be watching tonight out in Arizona.
He'd probably like to throw on a uni and get back in the batter's box. 2-1 pitch.
Well,
Missed
I'm sure
inside.
if he was healthy, he would.
You notice how Halladay is really pounding him in this at bat after he took him the opposite way for the home run his first time up.
I told you he would make adjustments according to how the hitters are going to approach him. And when he sees that hitter takes him the other way, that first at bat, and he leaves the yard, he's not going to give him a lot of swinging room. And this is a big, a home run hitter. They like to extend him. See what he throws him here on 3-2.
A line drive, base hit by Reynolds. Again, he goes the other way over the head of Utley. And Reynolds is 2 for 2.
Well, he stayed with the approach, man. He stayed inside the ball. He tried to power him and threw a fastball in, and Reynolds didn't try and pull it. He just stayed inside. That's a great swing. I mean, that ball got in on him, but you see you get rewarded with a quality at bat, and that is a quality at bat right there by Mark Reynolds. Up over the head of Utley.
Mark Reynolds has been some kind of impressive. His batting average now up over 300. Lonnie Chisenhall grounded to second his first time up. And Lonnie lifts one deep to right field. Back is Mayberry. He's on the track. He's at the wall. It is gone. Lonnie Chisenhall gets in the act. The third two-run homer of the night for the Indians off Roy Halladay, and it's now 6-1 Cleveland.
Starting to get contagious here.
In a good way.
That was a good swing, yes, in a very good way. As they say, offense hitting is contagious. That ball creeps back out over the plate, and Lonnie is a good low ball hitter, and he put a nice swing on that one. Both hands on the bat into the bullpen. 6-1 Tribe.
Now Ryan Rayburn goes the other way. He's got a base hit. Perfectly placed between Howard and Utley. And after hitting a line drive right at Howard his first time up, he bounces one through the hole. And that's 3 straight hits to open this 4th inning for the Indians. All smiles for Lonnie Chisenhall, his 3rd home run of the year.
Well, why not? I mean, he's been struggling lately, and the times he's hit the ball on the nose, they've made plays on him. So he hit one where they can't make a play on him, and he gets a circle of bases. The 3rd 2-run homer of the night.
Well, let's see if Drew Stubbs can join the party. 0 for his last 15 right now. Spins out of the way.
You know, that gives the Indians 32 homers this year. That's nicely done. In only 23 games, this being game number 24.
One-time Indian Chad Durbin is up getting loose in the Philly bullpen. Halladay closing in on 70 pitches for the night. Missed inside, 3-0. This is almost reminiscent of that game the Indians played in Kansas City the other day. Remember Justin Masterson? Just every mistake he made, they jumped on him. He got some big hits. Got out to a big lead and cruised.
And you know what? What did we talk about after that? A good approach by the offense of the Boston Red Sox.
Yeah.
And I think the Indians tonight have an excellent approach going against this guy. And the times that they've had the count in their favor, they've taken advantage of it. And they haven't missed. And that's a fun thing. Look at this. 3-1 count.
Drew Stubbs ends that 0 for 15 slump with a solid line drive base hit in the left field. And the Indians have 2 on. Still nobody out in the top of the order coming up.
Yeah, you know what? Roy Halladay may not have his best control tonight, but you got to give the Indians offense credit. They are doing the job. They're hitting it hard. They're using the whole field, and they are 3 home runs. Yeah, they're going to have to stall for some time because it doesn't look like it's Roy Halladay's night.
Rich Doobie, the pitching coach, out to stall for some time as Chad Durbin gets loose. Here's our AT&T trivia question tonight. 3 active pitchers have 2 or more seasons of 20 wins. Who are they? We'll have the answer coming up later in the game.
Well, for Halladay, as you see Durbin getting loose and cranking it up, he gave in his last 3 starts, he totaled 8 hits. Tonight, the Indians have 8 hits, and they're in the bottom of the 4th. So it goes to show you the approach is there.
Michael Brantley 0 for 2 on the night. He lines one center field. Back goes Revere and makes the catch. Tagging at second. Ryan Rayburn will go to third. And the Indians have him at the corners with 1 out. Let's go back to the Hyundai Studios right now for an in-game update with Al Pawlowski.
Hey, man, Rick, a former Philly, Vance Worley, is on the hill tonight for the Minnesota Twins in Detroit. Things have not gone well for him in the early going. First, a 2-run homer to Miguel Cabrera, and here, Alex Avila's solo shot in the second. 3-1, Tigers lead the Twins. They're in the third. Matt?
All right, thanks, Al. First and third with 1 out, Jason Kipnis, a perfect 2 for 2 on the night. Stubbs takes off. Ruiz throw, forget about it. Stubbs has the base stolen, his 4th of the year. And as good as Ruiz is, Stubbs just outran it.
Yes, he did. Well, and you steal it off the pitcher, but look at Stubbs. Watch the jump. 1, 2, 3, 4. He had about 5 or 6 steps before Ruiz got the ball, and he just outruns it. And they're going to bring the infield in.
Kipnis takes it slow.
Add on when the opportunity is around.
Ground ball to first. Howard able to make the play. The runners have to hold. 2 down. And that will bring up Asdrubal Cabrera, who is 0 for 2 on the night. This will be the 75th pitch for Halladay. Redbird tells us the last time Doc Halladay gave up 3 homers in a game was last May, 2 Mays ago, 2011, against the Washington Nationals. Cabrera with a line drive base hit in the right field. Come on down, Ryan Rayburn. Here comes Drew Stubbs. It's a 2-out, 2-run single for Asdrubal Cabrera. He's now hit in 9 straight, and the Indians are routing Roy Halladay. It's 8-1 Cleveland.
I'll tell you what, I think it's official to say the offense is back. That's a big 2-out base hit. And Cabrera, watch, they try to sneak it inside, and again, it leaks over. He didn't get the ball where he wanted it, and the Indians hitters take advantage. Cabrera drives in a pair, give him 10 on the year, and that's going to send Halladay to the showers.
He lasts just 3 2/3 innings tonight after he had been dominant in his last 3 starts. He had a 2-0 record and a 1.71 ERA, but the Indians send him to the locker room early tonight. Time now for today's Cleveland Clinic call to the bullpen. It's Chad Durbin when we come back. Indians have knocked out the Phillies starter Roy Halladay. Chad Durbin on for the 9th time this year. He'll come on to face Carlos Santana.
Well, a couple of 4-run innings. The first, the fourth. 3 long balls. They've been aggressive on the bases. There are a couple of stolen bases tonight. They look good. They ambushed Doc Holliday, I'll tell you that. He came out and he was pitching well. Well, they didn't give him much breathing room tonight. I understand his control might not have been where it was, or where he wanted it, but they didn't miss much.
No, and they hit it hard. I mean, everything,
Yeah.
you squared up, barreled.
Hitters counts, they took advantage of him.
Carlos Santana, the 8th man to bat for the Tribe here in the 4th. It was Santana who got the Indians rolling tonight in the first inning. He hit a high drive down the right field line that just stayed inside the pole on an off-speed pitch. And then 2 batters later, Mark Reynolds hit a 2-run homer. And you had a feeling at that point, this might be a special night for the Indians, the way Halladay had been pitching coming in. In the dirt, good block by Ruiz. Santana takes a strike. It's 2-2. Carlos has now hit in 5 straight, 9 for 17 during his little tear, but he's out looking to end the 4th. The Indians playing long ball tonight. 3 2-run homers. They lead it 8-1. The wireless receiver only from AT&T Uverse. Rethink possible. By your local Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places. And by Panini's with 19 locations in Northeast Ohio. It's an 8-1 Indians lead as we go now to the 5th. Zach McAllister will face Delman Young, who homered in the second for the only Phillies run tonight. Straightens him up with a fastball. Young last year with the Tigers hit 18 homers, drove in 74.
But, you know, primarily used as a DH. They didn't like him out in the outfield. He's going to have to play the outfield, you know, when he gets ready to come back in the National League.
Well, and, you know, Detroit went out and got Torrey Hunter. So they upgraded, you know, in the clubhouse.
Right.
Performance-wise, you know, at this stage in Torrey Hunter's career, it might be close to a wash. But he's a better guy, I think, in terms of what he brings in the clubhouse, leadership, chemistry, those types of things. Time called. Young steps away. Oh, he got drilled on the backside.
Well, that's certainly not.
Actually, I think it got him on the back elbow when he tried to turn out of the way. I thought it got him in the back initially, but take a look.
Well, he didn't want to miss up. I mean, he got it up and got it.
I think it got him on that right elbow.
Only guy. That's the only blemish on McAllister's card today is the solo home run, and now a hit batter, and both to Young.
Well, here is Dominic Brown, who flied to center his first time up. Brown, 25 years old, was a 20th round pick of the Phillies back in '06, but at 6'5" and over 200 pounds, he's quickly become a highly touted prospect. He's had a little big league time each of the last 3 years. And I think they're ready in Philly to see if this kid can truly blossom into the potential that everybody sees. Ripped foul. He is the nephew of Mudcat Grant.
No kidding. I don't know where Mud's at, if he's out in L.A. now or whatever, but shoot us a text, Mud. Let us know. I know you're out there somewhere, maybe watching.
McAllister ready with a 3-2. Foul back out of
Philly
play.
needs guys like Dominic Brown to step up. Some of the younger players, because we talked about the veterans. When you have Utley and you have Howard and you have Rollins and you have Young, you know, they're on the downside or getting a little bit older, but they're in a tough division over in the National League East. When you have Washington, you have Atlanta over there, and you know, to carry that long haul, if they're out of it after All-Star break, you know, they could end up go ahead and selling a lot of these guys.
No, that's true.
Well, the next $15 dog nights will be Friday at 7 o'clock. Buy early and save on tickets as the Indians will take on the Minnesota Twins. Log on to Indians.com for your tickets.
Well, McAllister working himself into a little trouble here. He hit a batter, now he's walked a batter, so he's put two men on base. Now he's got to attack the bottom third of the order. Carlos Ruiz, who was called out on strikes his first time up. A called strike. I mentioned Ruiz was just reinstated by the Phillies after being suspended for a positive test of amphetamines. Strike called over the outside edge. 1-2 the count. Last year, he had a big season for Philadelphia. Career highs in hits, doubles, homers, ribbies. Kind of half swings.
Jammed him. Just
bare hand grab and
out.
throw by Chisenhall. Reynolds kept his foot on the bag to get the out. And that's a big first out, because if he doesn't get him, then the bases are loaded.
That's really a good play by Reynolds to keep his foot and his toe on the bag, because he had to go into foul territory. Chisenhall made a backhanded or a barehanded play, and the throw's a little offline. But watch Reynolds. Shifts the feet. His toe is on the bag. He makes the catch and gets the call, and a big out. There it was in the glove. You saw the toe was still on top of the bag. That would have been bases loaded, nobody out. But they get at least that one out. Nice play.
Now John Mayberry, who lined out to right field his first time up. John Mayberry Jr. Jammed him right back to the mound. McAllister looks to run it back.
Dead to second base.
And he sure did.
Well, you don't look at that because you're thinking of the out.
You just looked to runner back to third. But Dominic Brown was probably 3/4 of the way to third base, wasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, that would have been like a fire drill out there if he went back at second base. But watch Brown. You can't go anywhere when you're on second. You got to make sure the guy on third goes home. You're down 7 runs. And, I mean, you just don't think of it. Just give me an out. McAllister was happy. He got the pitch in front of him, and you take it and move on.
Now he's got Ben Revere to deal with. If he gets Revere, he can get out of the inning without allowing any more damage here. Revere takes a strike, grounded out his first and only time up. Revere, the former Twin. Hit hard on the ground to short. Cabrera flips it to first. Oh, what a job by McAllister. He put the first 2 on, then retired the next 3 in a row. Chad Durbin got the last out in the bottom of the 4th, so he'll stay on to pitch the 5th. Jason Giambi, Mark Reynolds, Lonnie Chisenhall due up for the Indians. What a night for the Tribe offensively, though. Again, they break out early, chase Roy Halladay in the 4th. Mike Pacta tells us that this was the shortest start for Roy Halladay, allowing 8 or more earned runs since May 5th of 2000 against Cleveland.
No kidding.
When they got him for 8 earned runs in 3 2/3 innings. Almost the exact same line.
And what was the date?
May 5th.
Well, it's close.
6 days
It's
shy
close,
of the anniversary.
Isn't that something?
That is amazing.
Who came up with that note for you?
Redbird.
Redbird's on top of it tonight after a short night's sleep.
It's only the 6th time in Halliday's career that he's given up 8 or more runs. Giambi drives one to left center field. That's in the gap, and it's over the head of Revere. He's made a lot of spectacular catches, but unless he was going to don a red cape and fly through the air, he was not going to catch that ball.
Well, you know, when you make catches like that, sometimes you just chase a ball thinking you're going to catch it no matter where it is. And this ball was by him because it was smoked by Giambi in the left center field. That ball was by him before you realize it. He thought he picked out a spot and he ran a route that he thought that ball was going to land. But he didn't know a big man hit that ball, and that ball got over his head in a hurry. So Giambi in with a double, another extra base hit for the Tribe.
Now Mark Reynolds, 2 for 2, a 2-run homer, a single. He has scored twice and almost got hit. Dances out of the way. Oh, he had a good one to hit. Fouls it right back. One pitch. 2 balls and a strike. Mark Reynolds with 22 stakes.
Yeah, and today is the last day of April. So if you want to add on, go right ahead, Mark. We'll be happy to change that font there for you.
There are no more shopping days.
Not in the month of April for 2013. We will be turning the page after tonight.
Reynolds now awaits the 3-2 pitch. And a ground ball to first. Big hop for Howard. He'll take it himself. Giambi moves to third. And we've got 1 out. As promised earlier, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite.
Well, these guys had a great approach, and they didn't miss much. 10 hits that they have had tonight, 9 of them coming off Halliday. 5 were pulled, 1 was up the middle, 4 was opposite field. The 2 home runs that were hit were pulled. Reynolds went the other way. I take that back. He went to right center.
With the infield in, Chisenhall beats it into the ground to short. Giambi can't come home, and there are 2 down. Right now on FoxSportsOhio.com, the Ravens, the Super Bowl champs, grabbed 2 Ohioans in the NFL draft. A story of courage from this weekend's Cincinnati Marathon. And Sam Amico looks at the crucial Cavs offseason. All that and more on FoxSportsOhio.com. There's a long fly ball to deep left. Rayburn is out of here. Ryan Rayburn, another 2-run homer for the Tribe. His 3rd homer in the last 2 ball games. And it's now a 10-1 Indians lead.
Well, these guys are starting to get greedy now. Rayburn with a pair of home runs last night, and I mean, he smoked this ball. Let's see where that was. It looked like a little cutter that stayed middle of the plate, and he deposits that ball deep onto the Fox home run porch.
Yeah, the newly redesigned.
Yes, it is.
Fox Sports.
And you
Ohio
know what? That
home
was the
run porch.
first visit out there by a Cleveland Indian, so we're going to have to give him a little Fox hat to get him going for the first one onto the Fox home run porch.
Maybe a T-shirt. I think we got a couple of T-shirts laying around here. How about Drew Stubbs? He punches one up the middle. He has 2 hits on the night. And the hit parade continues for the Indians. You know, Ryan Rayburn's been around long enough. You know, last night, you think most people would have been giddy. He got a 4-hit night, 2 home runs. But he said, hey, you know, I know there's ups, there's downs. You got to deal with it all. He's just happy to be healthy and playing.
Well, he's been
last
around.
year he was hurt. He got off to a miserable start. Didn't work out in Detroit.
He's been around long enough to know you ride the good times out, and you know there's also going to be tough times. So never too high, never too low. Given the opportunity, just keep it rolling. And he's had a couple of good days. That's why he's been out there, and that's why Terry Francona's had his name in the lineup.
Brantley, a swing and a miss. Michael 0 for 3 tonight. Michael Bourne is just about ready to get out and play in a couple of rehab games. Hopefully by the end of the week, maybe this coming weekend, he could be back in the lineup for the Indians. We'll see how that goes. There's Michael Bourne right there. You know, he's hoping that he can get out and play a couple of, maybe just 2 minor league games, just to get a little timing back, get the feel back, make sure everything's good to go.
Well, he'll be able to tell you, too, if he's ready. You know, he wants to get back as quickly as possible, but when you miss time, you may need a few at-bats to get sharp. Some people will say they don't, but you don't come right back against Major League pitching and get thrown right into the fire.
Oh, Michael Brantley, liftoff deep into the night. The Indians have done it again. Their 4th 2-run homer of the ball game. Second time they've done it in an inning. I make that 5. That's their 5th 2-run homer of the night. Man, oh man.
Well,
Michael Brantley with his first home run on the year.
I don't know if Michael can hit a ball any farther. He found it, another cutter into the nitro zone, and that's deep into the night. Look at that ball sailing. Wow, what an explosion. It's 12-1 Indians. Brantley, his first home run. He was the only one without one.
So a pair of 2-run homers in the first, 2 more here in the 5th, and they had 1 in the 4th. So 5 2-run homers in the ball game, and they are burying the Phillies tonight.
Have lowered prices on your favorite ballpark fare here at Progressive Field. Get your $4 12-ounce domestic beers and $3 hot dogs at every game. You can log on to Indians.com for your tickets.
Well, Zach McAllister can just settle in now with the lead he's got. 12 runs on 13 hits for the Indians.
Well, 5 home runs. All 2-run homers, too. They have had some distance to them. Well, the way they were going, they're starting to relax, and they're taking it out on some people. And Kansas City in the last 2 games, and Philadelphia right here, the last 3 games, they've been hot. They've been getting some breaks, but they're swinging it well. It's a different team in the last 3 games.
Fouled right back. Well, and it's another example of when people say you can't hit the panic button, you can't make conclusions or jump to assessments too early in the season. You got to give it a little bit of time, and I think there's a perfect reason why. Baseball is a game that you need at bats, you need reps, and a week or so, not even a week, 3 days ago, I think most people were just stumped, mystified by this offense and its lack of hitting. And 3 days later, they're clobbering their way to win after win after win.
They've got to find some consistency is what needs to be done. I mean, they're smoking the ball right now, but they're feeling good about themselves. They're starting to relax a little bit more. Nice pitch.
Jimmy Rollins out looking, and he's 0 for 3.
I mean, you take a look at it tonight. Watch the locations. Breaking ball, Santana keeps it inside the line. Reynolds goes the other way. And then Yolani Chisenhall smokes one into the bullpen. Rayburn crushes a cutter into the night, and then here comes Brantley to follow. Rayburn hit his first last night, got his second and third to follow. There's Brantley. They were giving him the silent treatment because he was the last one to get one. But it's just nice to get him on the board, let him relax a little bit, and it takes a little pressure, or a lot of pressure off that offense and the pitching staff as well. One thing we felt that this team, you're going to have to be patient with because of all the new faces and the chemistry of this. It takes a while to go through. I mean, we're 1 month into it now. What are we, 23 games or something like that into it? 24 games right now is our game number 24. These guys got to learn each other. Just because you go through spring training, everything's nonchalant. You go down there. It's when you start this Major League Baseball season when it really counts.
Sure.
And it's changed. I mean, you have different people. You had guys called up, some injuries.
What they did, what they built in spring training was real, and it was certainly positive. But chemistry truly is forged in tough times.
Yeah.
How you react when, wow, what was wrong with that? That was right down the middle of the plate.
Yeah, he's been calling the high strike, too.
So you're right. You got to go through the tough times. You've got to go through the losing streaks and the offers to know what guys are all about. What guys are going to buckle, what guys are going to get tougher and battle back. Now the 2-2. And that's slugged to left field, and Michael Brantley runs it down. 2 away. Major League Baseball and People magazine will salute many of our nation's heroes. One veteran or military service member will be selected to represent each Major League team, and they'll be recognized at this year's All-Star game Go to tributeforheroes.com to make a nomination. Chase Utley flied to deep center his last time up in the fourth. You know, this is one of those games, too, where if you tried to handicap this thing before, the Indians are coming in. They get in late last night after playing in Kansas City, end of a long 11-day road trip. Phillies came in. They were here Sunday evening. Had all day Monday to chill, relax, get healthy. They come in here fresh, ready to go. And yet, it's the Indians who have taken it to them.
That's the beautiful thing about this game. That's why you play the games. No matter what it looks like on paper or how you think or shape it, you still have to go between the lines, and the players have to do their job and execute.
That ball is hit a long way, and it's not coming back. Chase Utley, his 5th home run of the year. 2nd solo homer of the night for Philadelphia. And it's now 12-2.
Well, he hit it deep into the night as well. Watch this ball out over the plate, and he gives it a ride, and you know it when you watch the outfielders just look up at it and see how far it's going to go. They'll make it a 12-2 game. Both runs, 2 hits that McAllister has given up, solo home runs.
It doesn't appear like there's a lot of a wind tonight, but there's enough of a breeze.
Oh, it's finally warm.
And it's warm, and it just seems like the ball hit in the air, especially from center to right center, is just flying.
You know what? And some bad pitches, too. Good pitches to hit, bad pitches to throw by the pitchers. They've made some mistakes, and the hitters have jumped all over them.
Nice change of pace by McAllister. Had Howard out in front, and the count is 0-2. And now Howard drills one deep right. Rayburn racing back. It's over his head. Hits right at the base of the wall. He's going to throw to Kipnis. Kipnis goes to second, and he is called safe. Wow, that was a close play. They almost got him. Rayburn played the carom perfectly. And he fired a strike to Kipnis. And Kipnis almost nailed him at the bag.
How strong is Howard? Watch, he one-arms it. He was out in front of that ball, and he was able to keep that bat through the hitting area and still get it off the wall. Played beautifully. Kipnis' throw a little high. By the time they come down with it, they say he gets in there. Let's take a look. Here comes a tag. That's about the same way as Kipnis' stolen base. But bang, bang. Awfully close. Goes as a double.
The count now on Delman Young. Young in his first action, coming off the DL for the first time tonight, homered in his first at bat as a Philly, then was hit by a pitch his last time up. Back out of play, 2-1. And that ball is in the hole. Diving attempt by Kipnis, can't get to it. Runner stops at third. Howard wasn't going to try to force the issue there. And so with 2 down, 3 straight hits for the Phillies. A homer, a double, now a single. They're at the corners for Dominic Brown.
He just shoots him the other way. That's a pretty good approach by Delman Young. Under the glove of Kipnis. And Howard just cruised into third base. He knew he wasn't even going to score or even try to score. So they move up. 3 straight hits now for the Phillies.
And a high pop to center. Drew Stubbs coming in. He calls for it. He's got it, and the inning is over. Phillies get another solo homer, but it's all Tribe tonight. 12-2 Cleveland. Time now for today's call to the bullpen. And Raul Valdez comes on after Chad Durbin was roughed up in an inning and a third.
Freddie Galvis goes in the ballgame at shortstop in place of Rollins, and over at second base, Kevin Franzen.
Asdrubal Cabrera 1 for 3 on the night. He drove in a pair back in the 4th inning. And he ropes this one foul down the left side.
Get your hand out of the way. That's right. That's coming too fast to try and catch it.
Fouled off the mask of Ruiz.
He's checking it out. That thing caught him squarely, and that thing flipped off his helmet. I mean, you talk about a direct hit right back. Watch the mask fly off. Ouch.
Cabrera swing and a miss. He goes down, 1 away. Our in-game recap brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Carlos Santana with a 2-run homer in the first got the Indians off and running tonight. Asdrubal Cabrera's 2-run single that I just talked about with 2 outs in the 4th inning made it 8-0, and then Michael Brantley's first home run of the year, the Indians' 5th 2-run homer of the night, made it 12-1. That's been the story of the night, the 2-run homer. 5 2-run homers. And how about this? It's the second time the Indians have hit 5 home runs in a game. The other time they did it was when they faced Tampa Bay when David Price was the starter.
Okay. I guess you're saying if anybody tries to start a Cy Young pitcher against the Indians, they're going to hit 5 home runs. That's what I'm thinking about.
One-two pitch in the dirt. Two is low, full count. Well, you think back to that year the Indians had, what was it, 2007, when they clobbered Johan Santana 5 out of 6 times when he was the reigning Cy Young Award winner. I think he was the reigning Cy Young Award winner that year. He wasn't the reigning, he had won it. And the Indians just, remember, every time he pitched against them, he couldn't beat the Indians.
Yeah, I mean, that year, you're right. And I think Carmona beat the Twins a few times that year, 3 times. And they couldn't beat him prior to that. You know, that one year that they had his number for whatever reason.
3-2 pitch. Little bit low, and Santana draws his second walk of the night. Let's go back right now to the Hyundai Studios for an in-game update with Al Pulowski.
Hey, Matt, talking about 2-run homers. How about in Kansas City? Tampa Bay's second batter of the game, Matt Joyce, with the runner aboard. See ya, his 5th of the year. It's now 2-0 Rays over the Royals. They're in the bottom of the 2nd inning at Kauffman Stadium. Back to you, Matt.
All right, thanks, Al.
He hit it off his former teammate, James Shields, too, by the way, pitching against the Rays.
Yeah. So Murph checked. Santana had won the Cy Young in 2005. So he was not the reigning Cy Young Award winner when the Indians had that great year against him, but he had won it, so he was already a Cy Young winner.
Yeah.
A little bit outside. 2 balls and a strike. The Indians with a big offensive party tonight. 4 in the first, 4 in the fourth, 4 in the 5th. And Jason Giambi, his last time up, he smoked a double to center field. Chops it up the middle. And Galvis had him played perfect. He grabbed it, stepped on the bag, threw to first. Double play ends the inning. 6 in the books. 12-3 or 12-2 Cleveland. That's a view from our Panini Cam, brought to you by Panini's Bar and Grill. (12-2), Tribe rolling tonight. Mike Aviles into the ball game, takes over at shortstop as Dribble Cabrera will get the rest of the night off. Zach McAllister has thrown 94 pitches. 63 of those have been strikes. And the only bump in the road for Zach was in the 6th inning. He had 2 outs, bases empty, and Chase Utley took him deep. Ryan Howard doubled to the base of the wall. And then Delman Young singled, but he got Dominic Brown to fly out to end the inning. Rip foul the other way.
Ryan Shaw getting loose on because Callister is getting around that 100 pitch count. But throwing again a lot of strikes, as he always does. Walked 1, hit 1 tonight, struck out 4.
Up and away. Actually up and in. That ball took off on him. And same result. Full count now. High pop, center field. Drew Stubbs will make the catch, and we've got 1 out. Let's go back and get the answer to our AT&T trivia question tonight. 3 active pitchers have 2 or more seasons of 20-plus wins. And the winners are Roy Halladay, Bartolo Colon, and Andy Pettit. John Mayberry Jr. 0 for 2 on the night. And a ball inside. (2-0). Tigers putting it to Minnesota 6-1. Detroit began the night a half game up in the Central. Looking for their 5th straight win. Look out.
Man, that got in the seats in a hurry.
And it came all the way back out on the field.
Yeah, it hit a seat and deflected out there quickly.
Hot smash in the left. Mayberry with a base hit. 5th hit of the night for Philadelphia.
Season tickets assure you the best seats at the lowest prices, and only season ticket holders get Tribe Rewards, giving you access to unique opportunities. Full and partial season ticket plans are on sale now at Indians.com.
Ben Revere, 0 for 2, takes a strike. Once again, it's been this way for a while now. The AL Central, top to bottom, is the closest division in baseball. The NL Central is also very close, just a half game different. Double play ball, Kipnis to Aviles to Reynolds. Twin killer ends the inning. So I'll tell you what, Zach McAllister with a terrific job here tonight. as he goes 7 innings and the Tribe is up by 10. Time now for the 7th inning stretch, brought to you by Spitzer Auto World. Life is hard. Buying a car shouldn't be. Zach McAllister gets a pat and a smile from Terry Francona, who appreciates the job that he has done here tonight. 7 innings, allowing just 2 runs. I think more importantly, Terry's got to be happy that this starting pitching rotation slowly starting to take some shape now. And the whole key is doing it consistently. A couple of 2-3 times through that rotation. That's when you get a chance to reel off some wins and get your team going.
Let this offense continue to do what it's doing. It takes a lot of pressure off those pitchers where they don't feel like they have to be perfect.
That's true.
I mean, because originally they started out the year and we thought, oh, man, the pitching's letting us down because they were down so early in the games. When the Indians start playing from in front, and I don't mean this big of a margin, but they've had success. Get the early lead, and it takes a little pressure off those guys and let them go to work a little bit. But the last 3 games have been big numbers.
A little bit outside from Valdez. Fouled away. Nick Hagedon getting ready in the Tribe bullpen. Reynolds is a strikeout victim, 1 away. So unless Reynolds gets another at bat, he'll go 2 for 4 tonight. And he'll finish out the month of April with a batting average of .301. This is a guy who in his career has batted .228 in the first month of the season. So far and away exceeding what he's done historically early in the year. His best month historically, batting average wise, is May. .262 in his career. From a home run standpoint, though, he can light it up in almost any month, but he's hit the most home runs in his career in the month of August. That's weird because that's when a lot of guys start getting tired, start dragging.
It's also like it gets hot and that ball starts jumping.
That's true. True. Chisenhall chases one up high, strikes out, 2 down. Third strikeout for Raul Valdez.
Friday night will be Dollar Dog Night. Ball game starting at 7 o'clock. Buy early and save on tickets as the Indians will take on the Twins.
Ryan Rayburn 2 for 3 tonight. Singleton scored in the 4th, and then he hit a 2-run homer in the 5th. And Rayburn's bidding for his second straight 2-home run game. Onto the porch for Rayburn, and he stays red hot at the dish.
Boy, I'll say, I'm going to be a little dejected. It's the first solo home run of the night. But, boy, this guy is red hot. Even his out today was a bullet right at Ryan Howard at first base. Look at the smiles. You want to hang around him because he has been hot. Back-to-back days with 2 home runs in each game. Nicely done. That makes it a 13-2 ball game, and Rayburn now with 4 home runs.
Sometimes they come in bunches.
Yeah, they usually do.
Drew Stubbs has singled and scored in each of his last 2 at-bats, and he fouls that pitch back.
Boy, oh boy, you talk about a good swing. Seeing the baseball. Kept his hands back on a breaking pitch. And that's just a really nice swing.
And now Drew Stubbs, he lifts one deep left field, and that's gone to the porch.
Wow.
Drew Stubbs with his second home run of the year. The Indians with 2 solo shots here in the 7th. It was 2-run homer night up until this inning.
I don't know what to say. I mean,
7 home runs.
7 in a ball game. That's unbelievable. That's a memorable night. And, you know, they're awfully comfortable, but holy smokes, whoever's pitching tomorrow says, save me some.
That would be Trevor Bauer.
Okay, well, he's not here, so he doesn't know it yet. 7 home runs. That's a night. That's a sight for sore eyes.
Fouled back out of play.
I thought they were showing me a replay again. I looked up at the screen. The next thing I know, I saw a ball leave the ballpark, and I said, oh, what's that? Another Rayburn replay. Oh, he booted that one. A home run ball fell down out onto the field. He wanted it back badly.
Yeah, look at him. All his friends are blowing up his phone right now.
Well, they should.
Brantley a swing and a miss. It's 2-2. 4th time in Indians history they've hit 7 home runs in a game. The last time they did it, we were both there, I think, in Seattle.
Oh, yeah.
They hit the 8 in 04 against the Mariners.
Victor might have had 3 that game.
I think
now
he
that
did.
You mention it. But yeah, this is you don't see this very often. Leaving the yard 7 times in a ball game.
3-2 pitch. Swung on and missed, and the inning is over. But the Indians continue to play home run derby here at Progressive Field. may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cleveland Indians. Late innings are brought to you by Captain Morgan Rum. Raise a glass, always in moderation. Now pitching for the Indians is Nick Hagedorn. Zach McAllister went 7 innings tonight. Left-hander Nick Hagedorn will come on here in the 8th. Other changes for the Indians. Carlos Santana moves from behind the plate to first base. And Yan Gomes takes over behind the dish. This is Freddie Galvis leading off. And a pitch up high, ball 1. Galvis took over for Jimmy Rollins, who was 0 for 3 tonight.
Hagedorn came in that situation yesterday with a couple guys on, nobody out, and got out of the inning. Pitched very well. He's upstairs tonight, but he was down in the strike zone last night and very good.
Now Hagedorn just trying to find the strike zone. Fires one in there. It's 3-1.
Yep, had 2 strikeouts in his inning of work yesterday.
Hagedorn walks Freddie Galvis to start this 8th inning. Let's go back and revisit our keys to the game. Control Utley and Howard. Well, that kind of went out the window by getting to Halladay early. The way they swung the bats tonight, about as impressive as you can even imagine. And they got to Halladay in the first inning.
Yeah,
first time in his career he's given up 2 home runs in the first inning of a game.
Yeah, big numbers. 3 times tonight they put 4 on the board, and in the 7th there was a couple of solo home runs. 7 on the night for the Indians. Special night.
Yeah, when you think about the first time Halladay gives up 2 home runs in the first inning of a game, only the 4th time in the history of this franchise that they've hit 7 home runs in a ball game.
And it's all kicking off a nice long homestand, so it's really a good way to start.
Up high. Now the 2-1 pitch. There's a strike. Evens the count, 2 balls and 2 strikes. I'd mentioned at the very top of our telecast, the Indians all time in interleague play. 13 games below 500 against the NL East. They were just 16-29 all time against the Eastern Division from the NL in interleague play. against Philadelphia. They're 3-6. So that it just kind of gives you an idea. Now, against the NL Central, which they've played the most, they're 94-90. And against the West, the NL West, 27-27.
I remember we went, what did we go out west one time? Interleague play, was it 2005?
It was 2005. It was San Diego,
we went
San Francisco.
15-3 that year, I believe. But
the foul ball. Yeah, that was that trip they went. I think we started in Chicago.
I think the only game we lost was in San Diego. Broussard made an error at first base, and that was the only game we lost.
Kind of jump-started that 05 campaign. That fell just short of the playoffs.
Yeah, interleague play, it certainly did.
You saw big Philippe Aumont loosening for Philly. And the payoff pitch. Fouled right back. And Hagedon struggling here. He's walked the first two. And again, we've talked about Nick Hagedon. Phenomenal talent. He's got the ability, but harnessing the consistency is that elusive final step for him to being one of those next in line go-to late inning guys.
Yeah, a power left-handed guy. And that is, as I mentioned, he had a beautiful inning yesterday, and now today he comes out and walks the first two guys.
Kevin Franzen comes up here. And a strike is called. Hagedon deals, and it's grounded right back up the middle. Aviles flips it to Kipnis. Barehand grab, hits the bag, turns and throws. Got him! Oh, baby! A double play here in the 8th. Nicely turned by Aviles and Kipnis.
Didn't really think they had a chance to turn it, because watch Aviles. He just bobbled it to get out of the glove, but Kipnis barehands it, throws, and right at the last minute got enough on it to, I think, get him at first base. Nicely turned double play. So the ground ball certainly helps out Nick Hagedon and the Indians. Second double play turn tonight.
Now sometimes all it takes is just a slight bobble, just a fraction is between being safe and out, that bang bang play, but that time they were still able to turn it. Ryan Howard, a big swing, and he came up empty. Howard doubled his last time up, 1 for 3 on the night. And he comes right back, gets a hit, 0-2. Now the 0-2 delivery. Weekly tap towards second. Kipnis comes charging in. Aviles cuts in front, throws, and he got him. You have to start calling each other off on ground balls with that shift on. Stay tuned after the ball game for Indians Live. Brought to you by Conrad's Tire Express and Total Car Care. Love the highlights. And if you missed anything, just stay on tune. We'll have it all for you coming up next. Philippe Amont coming on now for Philadelphia.
A lot of highlights to see tonight for the offense of the Cleveland Indians. Appearing for the 9th time this year, 1-3 record, 4.05 ERA. It'll be Kipnis, Aviles, Santana, the scheduled hitters for the Indians. 15 hits again tonight, double digits again, double digits in runs, 7 home runs, the big story of the night, and a double. So another 8 extra base hits. They had a boatload of them last night, 7 extra base hits.
Now Jason Kipnis was 2 for his first 2, both solid line drive base hits off Roy Halladay. He's grounded out twice in each of his last 2 trips. Bounced out to first base in the 4th and then grounded to short to end the 5th. Philippe Amont delivers. And Kipnis a smash to first where Howard will take it himself. Tonight's in-game box score is brought to you by your Northern Ohio Hyundai dealers. All right, Michael Brantley a 2-run shot. Santana a 2-run shot. Reynolds a 2-run homer. Chisenhall a 2-run homer. Rayburn 2 home runs, and Stubbs a home run. 7 in all for the Indians tonight. Now Mike Aviles gets his first at bat since taking over for Asdrubal Cabrera. Mike Aviles had 5 ribbies the other night in the game against Kansas City, but said he wasn't surprised to not be in the lineup the next day, wasn't shocked or stunned by it. He said, I come to the park every day. And he said, I know what my role is.
Right.
And he said, I know what Terry Francona is thinking. He said, I know these guys that are playing every day are talented. He said, I know what my role is. So
it's a veteran. Accepting the role. That's what young players cannot do when they're on the bench, because if they have a night like that, they expect to be in the lineup the next day, where a veteran says, hey, I did my job. The next time I get an opportunity, I want to do the same thing. Mm-hmm. That's accepting your role. Great guy to have on your team.
Grounded foul. But also has the wherewithal to be able to go out there and fill in. If you need somebody to play every day, it's not as though he hasn't done that. He can go out.
That's why I always said it's easier for a veteran, a guy that's played every day, to come in and be a utility player or be a role player for your team. Young players, it's too hard for them to do.
Aviles, short stroke, lines it to center field, a base hit.
Gets his chance, and there's a knock.
Carlos Santana off to a great start this year, and the only Indians player since 1916 with a 4-hit and a 5-hit game in the month of April, Lou Boudreau. in 1948. Let's hope that's a good omen.
Well, he's been hot.
You know, to take your point about veterans and the finding the right guy, the mentality to be that utility man in that role, and I think the mental side of it has to be important, because you have to have a guy who is accepting of that role, not a guy that's coming in saying,
telling you it's okay.
Yeah, oh yeah, I'll do that, wink, wink, but I really want to play every day, because that can blow up in your face and become a problem in the clubhouse too.
Well, I'm sure Terry Francona knew, because
Sure.
he had him. He knows them. You know players, and that helps when you know the league. You know the players.
You don't want a guy who's in your office every day going, "Hey Skip, I can really play. You need to put me in that lineup." That'll wear you out after a while.
Well, that's the one thing that Terry does very well. He knows all his players, communicates with them.
Bounced in front of the plate, and that was a serious ricochet all the way over to the Phillies dugout. Look, that's like somebody clearing the puck in hockey down into the corner and ricocheted all the way around.
Watch where this pitch hits. And I mean, if that's coming at you, what do you want to do as a catcher? You got a man on first, and you know that ball, it's almost impossible to block. You know, he ended up losing that ball, I think, in Santana. He was going to go over there, and he wasn't quite sure. So then he tried to just get a glove on it. There's nothing he could do.
Low and away. Philippe Aumont, 6'7", 260 pounds, out of Quebec, Canada.
Big man. It's a good thing he's not on skates. Playing in the NHL, he's a big man.
The 3-1 pitch is low, ball 4.
Third time that Santana has walked tonight.
Remember when we were talking just the other night about Luke Hochevar?
Right.
You know, first overall pick
Yes.
in the draft for Kansas City. And just the nature of the draft, you know, you hope that when you pick in that high in a draft that you're gonna get a hit and not a miss. Well, here's a guy in Aumont as a ball is roped to first base. Howard knocked it down, but no play. Giambi's got himself an infield hit, and how about Giambi going head first into first base in a 14-2 game?
He wanted that base hit, man. What's that tell you? He wanted to knock. That's flat out hustle. And I mean, Howard did a beautiful job to catch this ball and knock it down at least. And by the time he gets it, he wasn't going to throw it. And look at Giambi going head first. Giambino getting in there, gets the base knock.
You know, the old pro still has a lot of fire. Shows the young guys that, hey, every hit is important. And the bases are loaded with one out here in the 8th inning. This game may have already been decided.
But when you're 42, let's hope he can wake up tomorrow and his back's still in place. That's good hustle. He wanted it. He smelled it.
You know, if there's a guy at 42 who's not giving away an at-bat in a 12-run game, then everybody needs to grind out every at-bat in every game. The 0-1 pitch, fouled by Yan Gomes, who gets his first chance in the ball game. Now, before that ball was smashed to first, I was going to say Aumont was the 11th overall pick in the first round of the 07 draft by Seattle. So, I mean, here's a big guy, 6'7", has all the tools. You're thinking we got one here. But it hasn't really worked out to this point. There's a double play ball to end the inning. So the Tribe in command tonight, 14-2 as we go to the ninth. Live, brought to you by Conrad's Tire Express and Total Car Care. Al and Jason will break down the highlights, and there are plenty to break down. Rick and I will have some final thoughts, and we'll take a look at what the Indians did against Doc Halladay early in this ball game tonight. And Katie will have interviews and reaction from the Tribe Clubhouse, which figures to be pretty lively tonight. Matt Albers coming on for the 7th time this year. And Albers will be pitching here in the 9th inning. Delman Young, Dominic Brown. And we'll see if they make any other changes. But for Albers and the rest of the Indians bullpen tonight that has worked in this game, it's just been a matter of, go out and get a little work in. You're pitching with a lead of this size. Nick Hagedorn, walked a couple of guys, but then got the big double play ball and a ground out to get out of the 8th. McAllister went 7 strong innings. So now it's down to Albers here in the 9th. Philly came in having won 3 in a row. The Indians had won 5 out of 8. A win tonight would give them 3 straight victories now on the season. High fly ball, center field. Drew Stubbs, he's calling for it. This would equal the Indians' longest win streak of the year so far, which they just attained on that last road trip when they won the final 2 games of the series in Houston and then won the series opener against Chicago before they got rained out. Liner to center field. Stubbs makes the catch, 2 down. And it's up to Carlos Ruiz now. Matt Albers lets it fly, and a fastball is in there for a strike. The 0-1. just missing. Hit on the ground is short. Aviles sets, throws, got him. Phillies go 1-2-3 in the ninth. And the Indians will shake hands for the third straight night as they beat the Phillies by a final score of 14-2. Tribe has now won 3 straight, 6 out of their last 9. They're 11-13. And the 3-game win streak equals their longest of the year. Phillies have their 3-game win streak snapped. They dropped to 12-15 on the year. The winner is Zach McAllister. He's 2-3. The loser, Roy Halladay, he is 2-3. Time now for tonight's key play of the game. It's brought to you by KeyBank.
Let's go back to the first inning and a couple of big hits. Santana, I was a little shocked that they wanted to throw him a strike there, and I'm sure Halladay didn't want to put it where he did. It cost him 2 runs, and then Reynolds steps up after a walk. A beautiful at-bat to take it to right center field. And